Big up, guys. Good night. It's your boy, Mark and MUFC fan, guys. And it's the Mark and MUFC fan channel stream. You know what it is, guys. It's transfer market and some discussions about what's happening with the current state of Manchester United, guys. As we get into it, I got my boy Bali Tech pulled up in the building. Of course, one or two other guys should be pulling up to give their views. And of course, it's most importantly the views of all of you in the chat and those of you watching. So please get in the comments, give your opinions, have your say. We are here for it, guys. Big up to all of you and Bali Tech. Never fear, he's here.
Yo. Have no fear.
Chilling, my brother. What's good? What's good?
In the building.
Yeah, bro. It's going to be an interesting stream. We got a lot of interesting news, so let's get into it really quickly.
I'm going to jump out and come back in because the whole thing sounds a bit low.
Who's that, me?
No, me. Like, I don't know. Like, the whole stream sounds low on my end. So I'm going to jump out and come back in.
It sounds kind of low for me as well. I have to check it to see what's happening here, bro, as well. So, you know, if you want to jump out and jump back in, be my guest, bro. Guys, let me know in the chat if you're hearing me correctly and clearly. It would be really nice if you guys could let me know so I know what's going on, because I assume that you're hearing me clearly. Hopefully you are. Big up to everyone in the building. Let's get into the show. Let's get started with the news, guys, because as you know, another bitter blow has Man United entered talks to sign Tottenham main transfer target. Big up to my brother back. Is everything working better for you now?
Yeah, everything's perfect now.
Cool. Right. So Dorgu, guys. Dorgu, my brother. He is like, apparently it's an imminent situation as Man United have open talks to sign the player. We have been scouting him for the last 2 weeks. I have mentioned back in December that he was a possible option for Man United, as scouts have looked at him since November, and it might be a possible deal. And I did tell you guys then it would probably be around 22 million euros. You know, again, 2 weeks ago with Mick Ruby, we had a little transfer special where he also talked about it. And what can we say, guys? Interesting player, 20 years old, or just about above that, maybe 22, I think. Left back, Patrick Dorgu, attacking player. He gets forward, gets backward, great engine on him. 6'1", big guy, very physical. And, you know, it's an interesting thing. He's a Danish international. Nothing is concretely agreed yet. But the manager, Ruben Arum, is said to be very, very keen on adding reinforcements to his team. And while he is not the number one choice, he is in the list of the top 3, which also included likes of Nuno Mendes as well as Milos Kirkes. So if they are all the 3 signings that were the top of the list, I guess they fit the similar profile. Of course, this guy would be the cheapest of the bunch. And I don't want to make it sound like that, but maybe he is the guy that we want. Maybe he is the guy that we need. And I'm just going to say it like this because I'm not in the market of saying, well, we're getting the worst choice out of the lot. And in my honest opinion, he's a young player, lots left to develop. We have a coach who's brilliant for developing young talent. And it might be an interesting situation as there are reports that the youngster, knowing of the interest, is open to the move. And it's very possible that we can see this deal being done in the coming days. What are your thoughts on this, my brother? Let me know.
I've seen a few bits here and there of the player. First impression, you could tell that he's quite strong, he's quite quick. I think on the negative side, I feel like he's a little bit clumsy. I don't think his delivery is the greatest. And also, he's a young player, again, that needs to be developed. Me personally, I would have preferred Theo Hernandez because he's kind of what we need right now. He's somebody who would level up the team right now. So obviously with young players, you have to go through the growing pains with them. Sometimes they'll play well, sometimes they won't play well, they'll be very inconsistent, and then all it will end up being is me and you arguing on the stream. He's a young player, and I'm like, nah, but we need the players. He's wearing the shirt now and he's rubbish. So yeah, I don't want to go through none of that, but I could, like, he's young, so we might end up going there at some point.
Bro, that's one thing I thought about when I heard about this signing. I was like, bro, we might both actually like the player, but we might actually be on the one of the things that we might be agreeing on is the fact that I do think we need someone who's ready now. You know what I mean? In exactly 2 or 3 positions. And I would say definitely for that left wing back, we need a guy who could come in and start and deliver. And I think in the striker role as well, that's what we need. You know what I mean? I think this article will interest you as well. So let's shift pace to a possible outgoing. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. And this is going to be very interesting because AC Milan have turned their sights to Joshua Zirkzee and Rasmus Højlund following the Marcus Rashford transfer defeat. AC Milan have appeared to identify the duo Rasmus Højlund as their next transfer targets, and Joshua Zirkzee. Formerly, the Italian club set their sights on Marcus Rashford for a loan move, with the club reportedly entering advanced talks with the player over a January transfer. It was later reported that Rashford camp did not respond to Milan's approach, instead favoring a move to Barcelona. It appears as if Milan has not been discouraged by this setback. However, with the club setting its sights on other 2 Man United forwards, Milan continue to be in the market for a forward, and sources have said the club are exploring the possibility of signing one of João Felix, Joshua Zirkzee, or Rasmus Højlund, as ESPN also reported this live today. Sources have said that the former Benfica and Barcelona forward João Felix is Milan's favorite option after failing to sign Rashford, but there's also interest in Zirkzee and Højlund. Due to United's readiness to do deals this morning, an effort to bolster coach Ruben Amorim's squad, the report continued to say sources have considered that United will be open, right, to signing a forward before either allowing Zirkzee or Højlund to leave on loan. But with Juventus also interested in the pair, the prospect of one of the young strikers leaving to Old Trafford this month is realistic. Even if Rashford finds a new club, the article continued. Højlund has struggled to find his best form this season, losing his place in the starting 11 to Joshua Zirkzee. So, guys, I might even say that, to be fair, Joshua Zirkzee might not be the guy to be going on loan right now. He might be the guy to be getting game time. It might see that Højlund might go on loan to get some more game time and develop himself as he needs to be. You know what I mean? In my honest opinion, we are trying to develop him right now, but we also need a main striker to get in and actually do the job right now. That's the interesting thing. What are your thoughts on that, my bro?
I have no problem. Like, I'll take an issue if Zirkzee left the club at this stage of proceedings, because unless the club is bringing in another striker, we don't really have strikers. And then if I had to choose between Zirkzee and Rasmus, who's going to go on loan, I think Rasmus needs it a bit more, because right now he doesn't really, it's like he's lacking the fundamentals of how to play as a top level striker. So in my opinion, he needs to go on loan and to seek development away from Old Trafford. But personally, if they're not bringing guys in, then I'd rather just keep him, because I'm not trying to do this toxic thing where I'm like, get him out of the club and don't bring no replacements. Like, he should be good enough to score every now and then. Even though I don't really believe that much in him. Apart from, he's got wonderful finishing ability. Like, I won't take that away from him. But I just think he
100%.
lacks in several areas.
Big up to Timber Banks in the building, my brother, the fellow United fan. Well, he's really a Real Madrid fan, but underground United fan, you know, underground. You know what I'm saying?
Big up to Balitek.
Big up, bro. I don't know if you heard the first part of the conversation. Of course, I was talking just now about the possibility of one of Joshua Zirkzee and Rasmus Højlund going on loan to AC Milan, as there's interest. Also, Juventus is interested. Now, there's been some talks that United might replace one of them if they go on loan. It's just going to be a loan. And also the talk about, you know, Patrick Dorgu possibly being signed, as they're in talks to get the player. Of course, there's competition not just from Tottenham, but AC Milan and Inter Milan, as well as some other clubs. So,
Yeah,
what are your thoughts,
Mark,
Temba?
Mark, I heard everything, and initially when you guys caught these players, I don't know. I want to ask, are you guys having the same squad team with AC Milan? Because I don't understand any player you guys go for, they go for as well. Now, this Dogo, he plays in Lecce, and from what I know, most of these players sometimes they tend to leave um clubs like that to a club like AC Milan, Inter Milan, Juventus. I won't be surprised though. Even I think Chelsea was also they're also in for Dogo as well. Chelsea are in for him as well. And we just have to just wait and see who wins the race. Coming to this Zexi, Rasmus Hoyland, and for me, I don't. This is all just what you just put in the bin, man. This article here, there's no truth in it, man. It's just rubbish. Because one thing is this, man. AC Milan we are talking about right now, they've got strikers better than Rasmus Hoyland. Alvaro Morata is there. Alvaro Morata is there. Tammy Abraham is there as well. So why would AC Milan want to come for and there's no way that Man U are going to allow Zexi and Hoyland go for a loan. Like, I can understand the part of Hoyland, but Zexi, as it is right now, Zexi is looking as if he's now picking his confidence. So when a player is, looking that good, looking as if he's up for it, and all of a sudden there's talks of loan to AC Milan. No, I think after that incident happened where he was booed, I think yes, he might have made a move at that point in time, but I think something has also changed his mind. And for now, I don't think Zexi should be in that, like, living the club conversation. Honestly, I don't see it happening. Like both these two players, as much as I think Rasmus Hoyland alone will be good for him, but I don't see it happening right now because the way these guys are moving, Innocence and Glazers, the way they are moving, the way it is, like it's not looking as if they are going to sign any player, honestly. And Mark, do you know that Garnacho agent is in Chelsea right now, watching Chelsea's match?
Probably. I've
He's
heard
watching
that,
it.
but before you talk about that, I was about to talk about that as well, because that's next up on the list. Because I know his agent is there, but there are reports coming out tonight that Garnacho is very happy at United amid links with Napoli and Chelsea. Of course,
Yeah, we know.
the Argentine
Mark,
forward is
Mark,
linked.
we know.
It's very
We
possible
know.
that he could be moving there. I'm just
Yeah,
saying
we
it's
know.
possible.
We
Not
know he's
ruling it
happy.
out.
We know he's happy. But one thing is this, man. These guys are ready to sell, man. Because one thing we know for sure is, as things are looking, it's looking as if they don't have the funds to buy players. And that's what it's looking at. And you can't tell me if they go to Amorim right now and tell him, Amorim, this is what the only way we can get money to sign players is by letting go of Garnacho. What do you think Amorim will do? Because I believe
I would say
Amorim,
that, but before you consider that, I could tell you this: Chelsea made a £40 million bid, which has been rejected. United wants £67.5 million for the player, no less.
it won't happen, bro. It will not happen.
Well,
Chelsea
we see
knows,
if they really want it, they will spend the money.
Mark, you know what is this, man? Chelsea and Napoli would not want to, get ripped off because Mark, Napoli sold Kvaratskhelia to PSG for £64 million. £64 million. So now they
That's
are
not my
willing.
problem,
I know, I understand. And the way Napoli will want to sign Garnacho, they won't come out there as if they are signing a player who is already. They will come in there with the mentality: we are going to buy a player we want to develop. And I don't think there's a way Napoli will spend the whole money they got for Kvaratskhelia. And for Chelsea, the best thing I see Chelsea will offer is £50 million. That's max. I think Chelsea will go. But yet again, you ask yourself a question. This same Chelsea right now have scammed these guys. They sold you guys Mason Mount, £55 million. And now they are coming for Garnacho for 50 million, which means they still have 5 million profit.
Brother, this is why I'm saying to you, right? We want 65 M's, not 67.5 M's, bro. No less. And I not
It will
having
happen.
it, bro. I don't care
65
what
must
nobody
happen.
say. I back in United on this stance, bro. We want
Mark.
67.5 M's. Either come close or don't come at all. If you can't hit 60 plus 60 yourself, don't talk to me, bro. You're broke. You know what I mean?
It will happen, Mark. This Sergeant Ratcliffe and them, they are ready to sell for 50 million. I'm telling you on the truth.
Brother, they call for 60. You hear what the article says? 67.5 million pounds. What part of that tell you 50 million pounds, bro?
Hey,
I mean, I could understand they
you.
might sell to Napoli for 50 million pounds. But they're not selling to Chelsea for the same price, bro. Chelsea playing in the Prem, you know that, right? You know they'll have to pay an extra 5-10 million tax on that, right?
Bro, you'll be shocked. Don't worry, you'll be shocked.
You will be shocked, brother, because we're not taking that.
But I don't see it. I don't see him going to Chelsea anyway. I think Napoli is the best place he will go to, man. For me, I think Napoli is more. I think is looking more likely the place he will go to, not Chelsea. You know, but bro, don't just believe it that these guys will not take 50 million pounds from Chelsea. Don't think about it.
They're not taking no 50 million from Chelsea.
Bro, relax, man.
I am telling you now, that is how the Premier League works, bro. You don't strengthen a rival. Calm down. Calm
bro, which one is that you don't strengthen what? No, leave that. These guys don't have money. If you're talking about Chelsea, yeah, buying players, I would say yes. But these guys, the way they are moving, Mark, it is 20th. Today is 20th. No incoming. If you believe if these guys they've got 50 million somewhere, they would have signed players. They don't have it. And I heard you talking about 3 or 2 other players, Nuno Mendes. Nuno Mendes have signed a new contract at PSG. He has signed a new contract at PSG. Kekes right now, at least it will cost you at least 60 million.
I find like you're running around. Calm down, bro.
I'm not. I'm just trying to make you
understand. I understand. We're talking about Garnacho.
They don't have the money. They don't have the money.
To all these boys, calm down.
I'm just talking about in the sense
focus
that
on Garnacho for now.
If they have the money, if these guys have the money, they would have been in players. Which is why I'm telling you, these guys, I will not be surprised if they take 50 million from Chelsea. I'm telling you.
I am telling you, they're not going to take it from Chelsea. They will quicker take it from Napoli. We could agree on the Napoli 150. Or, I mean, 50 million. Right. We could agree on that. Right, but Chelsea and Napoli, bro, they will not do it. I'm telling you.
Napoli is where I think he will actually go to, man.
Well, right. And this is what I'm trying to tell you, bro. Like, I hear you. But definitely, bro, we will not be accepting that lower bid from Chelsea. They have to at least go above 55. And if they don't get there, we're not accepting it. I'm pretty sure that will be the case. Although we might be desperate, bro, we're not that desperate. I'm telling you
Mark, even though Chelsea are willing to go to 55 million pounds, guys, you should not be selling to your rival. You should not be like strengthening your rival. No. Even though Chelsea are ready, they should not be doing such. But being desperate, you can never know, man. Honestly.
Bro, well, that's what I will say. Moving on from that now, guys, there's some interesting vibes here, right? We hear the reports. There have been many reports today that Marcus Rashford still wants to play for Manchester United despite speculation over his future. Now, we've also heard reports from Ruben Amorim saying that, he will not put a player in his squad that he doesn't feel will improve his squad or will be right for his ideology. So we do know that Marcus Rashford has not been in the team for the last month and a half so far, and he has not been called up unless absolutely necessary in a game a few weeks ago, which he still was just on the bench onlooking. Now, it's an interesting report, as we all know that there are current reports that there are new details emerging on Borussia Dortmund-Marcus Rashford loan negotiations. And this is one of the situations where I feel was, when I heard about Borussia Dortmund, I was like, it's pretty likely. Of course, we know that Marcus Rashford would love to go to Barcelona. His preference is La Liga. But there are further details have emerged where the talks between United are focused around a 6-month loan that will cost the Schwarzer Gelben, or the Yellow Wall guys, 8 million euros to 10 million euros in fees and salary commitments. Berger does not specify how much would be due to the Red Devils in flat loan fee or how much of the 60 times capped international salary the German club is willing to pay, it's widely assumed that Rashford would have to take a pay cut in order to move to the Bundesliga club, as well as if he were to move to the Catalan Giants as well. Talks are ongoing despite all the hurdles, not to mention general consensus that a deal may not be necessarily a good fit for either side. A deal could still go through. Executives at both clubs maintain good working relations. Dortmund were able to successfully broker a similar arrangement for Jadon Sancho last winter, obtaining their former attacker on loan with a large purchase obligation. It stands to reason that Manchester United will also seek to build a purchase clause into the loan this time. Now, let's see how that goes. In my opinion, I think it's a possibility. I would definitely be hoping that he does accept a lower fee to move wherever it is, because it really will not be a good look on Marcus Rashford to not be playing any football for the next coming end of the 6 months. And it is realistically looking that might be the case, guys. And while we talk about that, this is some interactive news that might be linking, that might make sense. Despite other reports, Erik ten Hag remains a candidate for the Borussia Dortmund should Nuri Sahin be dismissed, and he is and will remain on the list. However, he would not be a 6-month solution, but would demand a long-term contract. Additionally, his severance pay with Man United would still need to be settled. In addition to Ten Hag, Dortmund have discussed other candidates for the job. So could this be an out? We know the Dutch international came in, and in his first season, Marcus Rashford has his best ever season being at Manchester United in terms of output and performances. Of course, that ran dry after we won the Carabao Cup. But guys, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that this has any traction? Do you think that this is possible? Because realistically, how I look at it, I feel like it's a deal that we can do in the situation where Marcus Rashford, it would do him some good.
One thing about this whole thing, Mark, is this, man. First of all, Marcus Rashford does not have somebody that at his corner that tells him the truth. Honestly, they don't tell him the truth. And the fact that this guy keeps allowing media or PR being driven year and year is not a good look. You are talking about you want to go to Barcelona. There was option for you to go to AC Milan, but because you prefer to go to Barcelona, and you're forgetting that Barcelona right now, they are in shambles. Like, they could not even register the likes of Dan Yomo and Victor Pau. They had to, this guy, Perez, had to come in to make it happen. And they are registered on temporarily, not even permanent, temporarily. There is no way Rashford, I don't see it happening. Even currently, after he said he wants to stay, because now you can see that no club is willing to come for him. No club is going to sign him. He could say, you can see it. All of a sudden, they're stuck again that he has agreed a deal with Barcelona, of which I don't understand, because Barca has been can't even. I want to see it happening. These are just PR spin, and it is not helping this dude, honestly. Because if I'm this guy called Rashford, I'll be looking at his agent. I'll be saying, how many weeks back you had people like Saudi Arabia, in 3 clubs from Saudi Arabia want him, Dortmund wants him, Barcelona wants him, AC Milan wants him, and 3 weeks after, nobody wants him anymore. Nobody is telling this guy the honest truth, man. Nobody is telling me the honest truth. And you might be thinking coming to Barca is easy. It's not. But I don't even see that day happening. I don't. And I've been saying it. I see Rashford staying at United. But what I would say is that it would be crazy whereby a 20-year-old who has potentials is sold. And a 27 years old that have been in the club for 10 years remains at the club. Because we have seen this. It happened with Casemiro. Casemiro and Scott McTominay. Scott McTominay went. Casemiro stayed.
Yeah,
because
Scott McTominay.
Now it's looking at like it's going to happen again. Because nobody wants him. Nobody wants Rashford for that amount of money he's earning. Nobody. He has to cut his deal. Like, for Barcelona to even get him, they have to be a pay cut, like tremendous pay cut. honestly. So for me, I just think all this thing Rashford is doing, Rashford and his PR team are doing, man, it's not looking good, man. He just wants to just keep controlling the news, and this is something they did during the Ten Hag's era. They were always controlling everything, and now you have a manager that have said to himself, "I will not stand for this bullshit, man. I don't want to see you in my team." And the good part of it is that Manchester United fan base as a whole, I've even forget they are now getting used to life without Marcus Rashford. And that is something good to have. Now, to go from a place whereby the team, the manager, the club, the fan base have forgotten about Rashford, and all of a sudden he comes back into the team. Who do you think wins?
Rashford.
That's the fact.
So, what are your thoughts on this, Bali Tech, bro?
Yo, my thoughts is that I think obviously he's paraded himself around Europe to some of Europe's top clubs, the likes of Juve, AC. I heard Bayern was in the mix there. I heard Barcelona. And now Dortmund has emerged. And I heard West Ham as well. So, and now he's toying with the idea of staying at Manchester United. In my humble opinion, staying at Manchester United is just going back to your comfort zone. And I don't feel at this stage of his career he needs another comfort zone. He needs to go out of his comfort zone in order to regain the form that he once had. And I think if he does go to either the Italian league or the German league, we will be able to see the previous Rashford. However, if he tries to stay in the Premier League and play for Manchester United, this Manchester United that can't attack to save their lives, this Manchester United that can't score goals, big up Royden, by the way. But like we're just shocking. So he needs to go and find pastors new so we can go and reinvest into the squad. We've definitely got some spicy attackers that we've been linked to. Like my ears perked up when I heard that we was linked with Ryan Cherky. I thought, ooh, that's an exciting, skillful player. I would definitely like to replace Rashford with this type of player. So, Rashford, you're blocking our blessings, bro. You need to keep it moving, as far as I'm concerned.
Big time.
Well, interestingly enough, guys, Ryan Cherky has a verbal agreement with Olympic Lyonnais for a January exec available at 22.5 million euros. That's just about the same price we got Malacia, right, guys? Just saying. Just putting this out there. This is the cost of Malacia. This might not be the answer in this season to the 10, but by next season, with time to play in the league and get himself acclimatized, he could very well be that. You know what I mean? I would certainly take Ryan Cherky to Manchester United, guys. The guy is class. He is silky. He reminds me of this other French guy who used to play in the Premier League before. I keep forgetting his name, bro. You know what I'm talking about?
Payet.
Dimitri Payet. 100%, that guy. Bro, this guy is a Dimitri Payet type player. I mean, I think Payet had a little bit more pace, but I think he a little bit more silky. You know what I mean? I think that's how the balance goes. But in my honest opinion, at 22 million, you can't go wrong. That's euros, guys. That's literally 15 million pounds. That's dirt cheap. This is a deal we could do next to Dorgu and spend 30 million pounds and boom. If we sell for Rashford for 30 million pounds, hey, he bought two players that will possibly next season be worth 60 million to 70 million pounds each. I mean, I'm just being a little bit exaggerative. Don't take it.
Nobody's coming for it. That's the problem, man. I'm sure Transfermarkt and they would take 20 million for Rashford right now. Because
I don't think it's his ability. I think it's just his wages. His wages are outrageous.
His wages are outrageous, and that is the problem.
They are.
Just remember, in euros, his wages are 578 or 98,000. His wages in euros.
Just imagine, man. For
Just imagine. You know what I mean? But guys, also wanted to mention a very interesting key piece of news coming in tonight. That Manchester United have been eyeing this guy for the last 3.5 weeks. The scouts and Jason Wilcox are currently in Porto. They were there to watch his game last night. About interest to bring him, there are reports that Ruben Amorim is very, very keen on having this youngster join us up front as the striker. Now, like I said to you guys, I would like a senior striker. But I cannot not report this piece of news because it seems pretty much interesting. You know, which reports that from Portugal claim United had scouts and Jason Wilcox in the stands. As reports specify, they were watching players from Porto. They were not a triumphant game, but the trip followed a 3-1 loss to United with a feeble display at home versus Brighton, underlying just how desperately Ruben Amorim needs reinforcements. The Portuguese spoke bluntly following defeat, calling his side maybe the worst team in the history of Manchester United, as they sit in 13th, 10 points clear of the relegation zone and about 16 odd points below top 4, which is a far cry from where we were when he came in. Meanwhile, Porto boss Vitor Bruno was sacked after Gil Vicente the game with his side third in the league, which is still topped by Amorim's former side, Sporting Lisbon. The report did not specify which players we'll be looking at besides Samu Omorodion, or Agehoa, as he is called, but there are reports that this is not the first time United scouts have been there watching games of the young starlet and other players there. It's been reported that the 20-year-old striker has bagged 18 goals in 24 games so far this season. And while Rasmus Højlund at the same age, you know, has not shown that potential, this guy is a little bit more prolific. And also Galeno has been looked at as well, who has 12 goals and 3 assists from 28 matches, operating as a left winger and a left back, so could be viewed as an option for the wing back position as well. Now, we are in talks to sign the young player, and we are also looking at Porto's 17-year-old midfielder, Francisco Moura, who played for 20 minutes against Gil Vicente as well. And it's going to be very interesting, guys. I know these are just some reports that are coming out, but I just wanted to ask your thoughts on the player. I know you guys might not know who Francisco Moura is. I will pull up some information on him for you guys just now. But apart from that, what are your thoughts?
Samu Omorodion. Well, his parent club is where? I'm trying to. I think he's on loan at Porto, right?
From Atletico Madrid, yeah.
Atletico Madrid, right. I'm trying to get this parent club. Well, one thing I will say is that he's a good player, but man, we all said United need a senior striker at this point in time. And Samu Omorodion, yes, as much when we watched that game against United on the Europa Cup, he played really well. Like, he played extremely well. But can he also replicate that same performance in the Premiership consistently? That is something we want to talk about. But I think if they can get him, are they trying to get him on loan, or they are trying to get him in a transfer bid? And how much do they think it will cost? Because mind you, Chelsea were paying almost 40 million. Is it 40 million or 45 million euros?
40 million euros, 45 million euros.
They are paying for Omorodion when they wanted to get him. So, do they have that cash right now? Or are they trying to get him on a loan deal? It will be interesting. And for me, you know, one thing is that this is something we've been saying, we have been seeing. This just looks more like what Glazers done. They do. After a loss of a game, you get linked to so many players. This is something we see under the Glazers, but immediately United lose a game of football, the following week they get linked to players here and there. And it's not making sense. Today is 20th, 10 days to go. All this kind of things coming out here and there. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, Timber's right, man. I mean, this doesn't make any sense. And I mean, what do I think of the player? I think the player's a decent player. I won't say he's all the way better than what we have, but he does have a certain physicality in the box and a physicality in the air that we don't have right now with both strikers that we have. That goes for Xerxes or Rasmus. None of them are good in the air like Samu is. Like he showed that against Manchester United when he bullied De Ligt in the air. And De Ligt, we all know that De Ligt is very good in the air. We all know that Harry Maguire is good in the air, but the way he was able to bully De Ligt in that game was sensational. I don't really think he's the greatest of strikers. However, obviously he's a young striker. But again, if we was to bring him in, it's not that I wouldn't take him, but I would take him under the guise that we get rid of either Xerxes or Højlund, preferably Højlund, and still bring in Gyökeres or bring in Victor Boniface or bring in Victor Osimhen, like somebody on that level. Because at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not trying to operate a crash here. I want ready-made players. I'm done with the constant experiments. Oh yeah, we're gonna bring this guy, and in 4 to 5 years, he's gonna be good. Like, no, I don't care. I don't care now. I've had enough of losing. I've had enough of not being good on the field. I've had enough of operating a crash. I have been watching. We have been trying to win the Premier League since Fergie left. Yeah, we've tried so many different strategies. Yeah, the only strategy I know that is gonna work now is if we go and get players that are good now. I am not saying that they have to be world class, but I am saying that they have to be experienced enough to know what they're doing. So if they're 24 years old, cool. They're 24 years old, a confident 24. I'm happy with that. I'm not trying to give somebody the shirt and then we're like, oh yeah, but just give him like 2-3 years. No, I want to give you 6 months because you're just finding out that Manchester is cold. That's what I want to give you. I don't want to give you anything more than the 6 months because there's a culture shock because you don't like fish and chips. Like, that's the only thing that I'm trying to give you. I ain't trying to give you anything other than that, bruv. I ain't trying to give you anything other than you're settling into life in England. That's all I'm trying to give you. After that, your feet need to do the talking on the pitch. Yeah, I'm not trying to hear all your fanboys telling me, oh, but you was good in another league. I'm not trying to hear all that, bruv. Come to Manchester United and perform. If you don't perform, fuck off. Because at the end of the day, yeah, I look at all the top clubs around the world. Do you think, yeah, you could go to Barcelona or Real Madrid and be shit
Never.
and just people just be backing you while you're playing
Never.
shit week in, week out? Hell
Never.
no. So why are we accepting this below par players at Manchester United? We need to, as a fan base, stop accepting this bullshit. Because at the end of the day, yes, you can look at the human element and the mental element of some of the players and whatnot, but you have to understand, yeah, this is the Glazers and idiots that are doing this to us, you know, at the
Oh,
end
yes.
of the day. So either you're backing them up with their choices of bullshit, or you're against it and you want what's best for the team. Now, I'm not saying that Samu wouldn't improve us in some areas. He definitely would. But he's not going to take us to another level. He's not going to fire us into the top 4. No, we're still going to have to develop him to a certain extent, and that's what I'm trying to. I'm not saying that we can't develop anyone, but I'm saying we need somebody ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, guys. So checking this out, right, guys, is getting real interesting here, because the interesting thing is recent reports coming in today, hot off the press. Hubert Grisek was promoted to the first team amid Onana errors. Now, I'm not saying that Onana is going to be dropped,
but he has to be dropped.
I don't mind. I would agree he has to be dropped. Where Bali Tech is up here too.
He has to be dropped because this guy, man. Of course,
that's not, bro. So I just wanted to wrap up this real quick, because I wanted to talk about him and 2 other things before I give you a final opinion. Big up to Bali Tech. So with Hubert Grisek being promoted, it seems that the manager is taking some account in his stance with Andre Onana, and maybe he might be dropping down the pecking order. Of course, we've seen the impressive performance of Altay Bayindir early on last week versus Arsenal. Would Bayindir get the start? Would you start Bayindir this week in the cup against Rangers, or would you give Onana a second chance? There's also, possibilities that we are looking at other goalkeepers like Ilan Meslier and Zion Suzuki as well. But there's also some reports coming in about, not only that, but there's also some other young players who are being promoted to the first team in Manchester United as well. Some young talents that have been performing really well this season. One of my boy favorites, Goodwill Kukonki, an obvious name on the list. He is a 16-year-old left-footed defender with a potential to excel in the left-back role as well. An interesting talent, could gradually earn some valuable team minutes, potentially stepping in as a substitute for Lisandro Martinez. Well, we know Harry Amas is already going out on loan, so that's not going to be him. There's some consideration about Gabi Biancheri and Chido Obi Martin, but there's also a possibility that young Danjo Jr. could be coming into the team and not going out on loan anymore. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Of course, we know Toby Collier has already been in the team, and there's the young Mattis as well, who is training with the team, and Jack Fletcher, as well as his twin brother, Tyler. So, guys, just to bring this up and to round up with your opinions, there has also been a report about the, an update on the injured players, the likes of Luke Shaw, Mason Mount, and Johnny Evans, and their return dates. On average, Luke Shaw will not be returning until maybe, the end of February or the second week in March, which puts him out for another month and a half, give or take, if you want to put it like that. Mason Mount as well, is possibly not going to be back for another 3 months or at best 6 weeks. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Luke Shaw, because we don't know an exact date on when he's possibly going to return. Victor Lindelof as well, his date is unknown as he is dealing with a muscle strain. Johnny Evans as well, and he is also unknown when he will return. So we definitely need some backup. We need some reinforcements, whether it be the young academy players or not. What are your guys' thoughts? Of course, I would love to give Dan Gore Jr. a chance. I would love to see some other possible players get their chances. And, it might be a situation where Chelsea does pay £59 million to get the player Timber Banks. Hopefully we'll see what happens there. So what are your thoughts to round up, guys? How do you feel? You know what I mean? You can touch on the injured players. You can touch on the possible youngsters. I know Bali Tech loves him some Goodwill Kukonki, a very interesting young talent that I think, will definitely prove himself at Manchester United. And also, the likes of, the possibilities of the young goalkeeper possibly coming in and buying there, stepping ahead of Onana, even if it's for just a run of games.
One thing I will say about I don't want to talk anything about this injury players of a team, man, because honestly, I don't know what the media is doing, because what Luke Shaw did, it's a crime. You kept yourself whereby you were available to go for the Euros. You've not played football for 18 months for United, but as soon as the Euros became available, man, was available, played Euros, and the next thing injured again. So talking about the likes of Luke Shaw is a waste of time, man. Because for me, I think they should have someone just look for a way to just terminate his contracts on mutual consent. Honestly, these guys are just, we talk about how Sergeant Ratcliffe and Enos, they see, or the Glazers see United as cash cow. Some of these players also, they are seeing United as a cash cow as well. Because Luke Shaw is the new Phil Jones. Whenever the market is available, is injured. When the market is closed, is available. Mason Mount as well. I don't know how. I don't know how this guy was brought into the club for 55 million. I don't know how. And that's the next truth. But what I would say about Dango was somebody I watched him play in the preseason. I think last season. I don't know. He looked really, really good. And I think he played against Crystal Palace as well. I think he Carabao Cup, FA Cup, I've forgotten. Mm-hmm. And he played well. He played really well. I watched him play. And if he can get more games under his belt, I think he will be more, he will come good in the team more if he's giving game time. I think then you can let the likes of your Casemiro keep, chopping bench and everything since they don't want to go to Saudi Arabia. Now coming to Onana, honestly, Bayinda should start because for me, I said even the game after that game against Arsenal, I believe he should have started against Southampton as well. But the manager made a big call, brought Onana back, and there's no problem in that. Now, since he has done what he did, I think Bayinda should be starting. Because one thing I will say is this, man, as much as people want to talk about him probably crap as well, I think all you need is just confidence. And after that game of football he had against Arsenal, that would have been a good way to go to the next game. Starting with the next game. That same confidence he had against Arsenal. Maybe that momentum would just keep going. But I hope, I believe he will start against Rangers. I believe so, honestly.
And then guys, I will definitely be there for the Rangers game. So hopefully he does. I haven't seen a loss since I've gone to games, which is, I would say, is a very lucky situation for me. Hopefully I don't see one midweek, but how the form is. What are your thoughts, Bali Tech, bro?
I don't really read too much into the young keeper getting promoted into the first team. I know obviously the papers are going to highlight it and sensationalize it and make it seem like the young keeper will play ahead of Onana or whatever it is. But I think for me, at this stage of the season, I believe that Almiron was always going to start promoting some youth players to the first team. You hear a lot of them getting opportunities to sit on the bench, and sometimes, occasionally, the camera will pan over to the bench and you see the likes of Goodwill Kokonki just sitting there bored, knowing that they're not going to play. So the only objection that I have to some of them being on the bench is that if you're not going to play the likes of Rashford, Luke Shaw, Mason Mount, then and Anthony, then a few of these guys can get minutes here or there. You don't want to play Casemiro. You don't really want to play Eriksen. So really and truly, that's like 5 or 6 players I've just said there. We are literally handicapped. These men are the reason, yeah. Sorry to say, including Malacia as well. These men are all a part of the problem. Like, we have so many issues at Man United that has hindered us and left us in whatever position we're in now. Like, imagine if all these guys were fit and had the right attitude. We would be way higher up the table, but they're never fit and a lot of them don't have the right attitude. So, yeah, We just need to get rid of them one by one. Hopefully, we can give some of the youngsters a run out, because at the end of the day, it's all good going to the transfer market and splashing 30 million on Dorgu and this money on this guy and this money on that guy and spending 40 million on Samu. But at the end of the day, if you don't give these kids a chance, this guy could just be another problem that we're bringing to the club, putting on reasonably high wages, and then blocking the pathway of someone who is ready to fight and die for the club. So, yeah, we need to start giving some of these youngsters a chance, just to see if we need to bring in players to play over them. But, yeah, that's my thoughts.
I totally agree with that, bro, to be honest. You know what I mean? I feel like, we definitely need to make a decision on what we're doing, how we're going to do this, because are we going to promote youth, or are we going to buy young players around the same age and give them a chance? I mean, if we go and develop anybody, I'd rather do it with the young talent coming through the academy. They've been working at it for years trying to get into that first team. So I think they would appreciate it a bit more, but who's to say what will happen, guys? At the end of the day, guys, tomorrow we'll be definitely doing the pre-match preview for the game against Rangers. So stay tuned for that. Your boy will be traveling to Manchester this week for the game. So, of course, we'll do the match preview tomorrow. Guys, thank you for joining us. It's been a great stream. It's been a pleasure to have you all here. Please, if you have the time and the chance, don't forget to leave a comment, smash a like, and please subscribe if you have. The road to 3K is here. Of course, I'm 1,400 subscribers away from that, but with your help, I know I can get there. So smash the like, share it around, guys. Let's grow the community. Big up to Timber Banks, my brother, for always coming in and providing that backup. The underground Madrid fan. The Madrid fan who's the underground Man United fan. Sorry, bro. I keep getting that wrong. But my bad, bro. Big up to Bali Tech as well. Big up to Mama Flossie in the building. Brand new mod. Thank you so much for joining the team and being part of the scene. Big up to you, Mama Flossie. Big up to Genghis Khan in the building as well. Big up to Kepa Lands. And of course, Malabina is always here for Banks to say hi. Big up to Gabriel as well. Big up to Nakomo in the building. Big up to Leonard as well and Masomi as well. Big up to you guys. I hope you guys have a great afternoon. Big up to Abdullah Oran as well. Big up to Lucky Singh in the building. Big up to Reyes. Yeah, he did get sent off. I left that out, but it's by the by, bro. You know what I mean? It's by the by. Big up to David Moyes and Ray Carl Brown in the building. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful evening. It's been your boy, Mark N. Don't forget to come in. Tomorrow, we will be here with more transfer news. Of course, hopefully, we will be hearing some more reports on what's actually happening and not, prospectively. Again, there are reports that we might be getting Dorgu tomorrow. Man United staff has flown across. The executive have flown to Italy to strike a deal. Let's see how it goes. Of course, you have heard that there are improved bid coming in, not only from Chelsea, but also from Napoli for Garnacho. Loan deals possibility, maybe for Højlund. Let's see how it goes. Let's see what happens. Is it going to be a wheel and a deal, or is it just going to be spin, spin, spin? Big up to you guys and have a great night. Thank you for joining us.